everyone to Anyone's Game. This is a fantasy tournament in which we pit random fictional characters and even a few celebrities against each other in a wildly varying tournament. Every contest is going to be different. In fact, the contests are all pulled from a hat, just like the characters are. So,
how does this work? The audience picks 2 characters out of a hat, picks their favourite, and puts the other one back. Then we spin the wheel, and where it lands is where the character goes on the board. We keep picking characters until we get a match. One by one, we pitch 2 of the characters against each other in a competition of sorts, each one pulled from a hat. The audience can then shout their opinions on who will win at the panel of judges until they cry or agree with you. The judges get the last word and will vote left or right for who they think would win. After 4 rounds, we whittle down our contestants to just 2 characters in a best of 3, and the winner gets the centre circle. Anybody could win. Anybody could lose. It may be a fair fight or it could be an easy defeat. It truly is anyone's game.
So, who would like to pull the first?
I would love first one.
Pick one, throw the other one back.
Mike Wazowski, London Tipton. What do you mean London Tipton?
Yes!
London Tipton from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. So then we go ahead and give that a spin, and that'll determine where she ends up on the bracket. And if we reach a space that can't be filled, or is already filled, then we just keep the wheel moving until we find an empty spot. All right.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
Thomas the Tank Engine. Kevin from Up. The Brain from Pinky and the Brain. Huey Duck from DuckTales. Oh, and we have a match. Huey Duck versus Kevin from Up.
Science fair.
A science fair. Huey versus Kevin. Who would like to argue in favor of Kevin? You would like to. Okay, come on up. Based on the rules of the game, it doesn't explicitly state that they have to be the one presenting at the science fair. So I would argue Kevin, as the science fair exhibit, would be the most significant science fair. You've got a new species from an unknown continent. That's not even just science fair. That's like scientific grant level science.
Is that one of the nephews? Yeah. Who is Huey Duck?
Huey's in the red hat.
Huey would probably win because Huey's the smart one. Hey, come on, what's your adventure guy? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not super versed in DuckTales, but I imagine that you probably try and go find something, like a historical artifact, since that's what DuckTales does. So you probably uncover some, like, giant historical, like, priceless artifact, and that would be a science fair project. And he'd probably have a huge presentation on it because he's the OCD insane one. So that's what
Judges, on the count of 3, please show us your votes. You want to show us the solid arrow for Kevin or the hollow arrow for Huey. 1, 2, 3. We've got 2 votes for Huey Duck.
That was a great argument for Kevin.
So Huey advances. Lieutenant Commander Jordy LaFleur.
Danny Tanner from Full House.
Danny Tanner versus London Tipton.
Yeah.
K9 agility course.
Are they the K9?
No, they do not have a canine.
They're running through the course themselves.
Oh, okay.
As we all know from being Full House junkies,
Yes.
he was a morning show host. This is exactly the type of thing that a morning show host would be asked to do, would be to run the K9 agility contest for laps in the morning.
Fluffies.
So I think that London Tipton would win the agility course because she has the spirit and heart of a very small, aggressive dog. Like, she's very pampered, but she can get stuff done, and she hates losing. And I think that she would become a dog for this competition. Like, I do. I think that she would channel it a lot.
I forgot to get your names. Jeremy.
Lori.
And
Megan.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. London Tipton?
Yeah. 0 for 2.
You are playing it right there. There we go.
The advocate of lost causes.
You go with Ryan Seacrest. All right. Dewey Duck.
Miss Piggy.
Maid Marian from Disney's Robin Hood. Oh! Versus Miss Piggy.
Improv comedy.
It's Miss Piggy.
I'm ready to be persuaded. Yeah.
I mean, Miss Piggy, come on. The woman literally makes her living of being the most fabulous Muppet of them all. You know, improv comedy, she's got it in the bag, she's fabulous, she's got the outfits for it. She's clearly very funny. I mean, she's got all the frog jokes. I mean, talking about like making a croak, if you know what I mean. Clearly, she would win against Maid Marian because she's a maid. Hello, I mean, she's not met the fruits of life yet, if you know what I mean. So, Maid Marian can just sit down.
I have not seen this movie in 35 years. I wish she was a fox. She's fast on her feet. She has to play a lot of tricks on Sheriff of Nottingham, but it's Prince John or Nottingham. She mostly interacts with. I can't remember which. But both of them, so she's constantly pulling off trick after trick, meeting up with Robin Hood in the forest. So I think the tales of her antics would be comedy fodder for the simple folk of Nottingham.
So, if you're ready, 1, 2, 3. Unanimous decision in favor of Miss Piggy.
Bob Ross.
Jake from Adventure Time.
All right.
Who is Jake from Adventure Time? He's the dog.
He's the dog.
So just keep the wheel.
What is Adventure Time? Okay. Smokey the Bear. Versus the Brain. Rubik's Cube solver.
We all know Brain. He can take over the world. He also is a lab rat. So his entire life is doing puzzles. And so he's got a huge brain. He does puzzles. He would obviously know how to puzzle out the Rubik's Cube thing. It might be too large for his little paws, but he is brilliant. So he would be able to figure out a way to leverage, to be able to do the Rubik's Cube. So really, his whole name says it all. He's a brain, he could do a Rubik's Cube.
So Smokey is a responsible character. He's the kind of guy that would break down and actually start doing the Rubik's Cube, and actually he would do it slowly, but he would do it because he's a responsible guy that does that kind of thing. The Brain, on the other hand, is not responsible. He would come up with this crazy convoluted plan to take over the world that would involve a Rubik's Cube, and then it would all come undone at the last minute because of some crazy thing that he never intended. So really, you have to go with the guy who is slow but steady and responsible, who is Smokey the Bear. All right.
Rebuttal.
So.
Objection.
All right.
Are we voting?
Yeah. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That looks like Smokey the Bear. All right, Johnny Silverhand from Cyberpunk 2077. He wasn't always a hologram, And he's facing off against Lieutenant Commander Geordie LaForge.
Oh no.
This is going to be marathon. All right. LaForge and Silverhand are running a marathon. Who's going to win?
So my argument for LaForge actually being able to win the marathon is he's in Starfleet. They're supposed to be in physical, top health, and he likes challenges. So I could see him working his way in winning a marathon.
Woo!
He takes a lot of drugs. He did not run the bomb, but he could have.
maybe. So yeah, and you know what? He uses a lot of like cyberware, so potentially he could run even faster than a normal human.
Woo! 1, 2, 3, vote. All right, that looks like Jordy LaForge. Woo!
Chowder.
Chowder from Chowder.
He's a Turkic bear
Versus Ryan Seacrest. Ryan Seacrest versus Chowder in breakdancing.
All right. Chowder's a cartoon character. He breaks the fourth wall all the time, so I feel like he'd probably pretty good at breakdancing. He can move literally however he wants. Can probably just do anything, move his limbs wherever he wants. We've actually seen him, I think, move his ears like around his head before, so he can move wherever he wants. So thanks so much.
Okay, so Ryan Seacrest is a TV talk show host. He is the exact kind of guy that everyone would be like, you have to breakdance now, and you have to like follow this other breakdancer's moves. And then he would do it, and maybe he would be kind of good, maybe he would be kind of bad, but he would actually do it. Like, he would actually perform breakdancing very badly. So that's Ryan Seacrest.
Seacrest out.
1, 2, 3, vote. That looks like Chowder. And we've got our next match already. Chowder versus Miss Piggy. Yes! Dungeon delving, and they're going to be doing this with their previous opponent. So, Chowder and Ryan Seacrest versus Miss Piggy and Big Marion.
What is dungeon delving?
Dungeon delving is like when you, as a party of adventurers in, say, Dungeons and Dragons, go into a dungeon, explore, gather loot, fight off trolls, whatever.
So here's I'm seeing this as a party of Ryan Seacrest and Chowder is two wizards versus Maid Marian and Miss Piggy is a barbarian and a rogue. Even
3, 2, 1, vote. That's gonna be Miss Piggy and Maid Marian. Oh, all right. Kevin McAllister from Home Alone. And his name is
John Cena!
John Cena versus Kevin McAllister.
Dungeon mastery.
Dungeon mastering. Okay, so normally this would be with their previous opponent, but they didn't have one. So I'm going to draw random partners to join them for this match only. Kevin McAllister is going to be dungeon mastering for Cranky Kong and Rufus from Kim Possible. John Cena will be dungeon mastering for Little Mac from Punch Out and Percy Jackson.
Kevin McAllister needs to do something while he's home alone.
He did design a dungeon.
already. Yeah.
That's really solid. If I were a judge, you'd have my vote. All right.
John
Anybody
Cena
else?
is a very imaginative person, though. He has come up with a whole persona for WWE, so.
Several.
Yes. There you go. I think that he could go for it.
He'd be less craft intensive, but a lot of fun.
John Cena is essentially a theater kid with body slams, and theater kids are really good DMs.
Well, and John Cena's on Wipeout, so that's kind of what he did.
Oh, is it? He's one of the hosts now? 3, 2, 1, vote. That's looking like Kevin McAllister. Colonel Jack O'Neill from Stargate SG-1.
Mojo Jojo.
Mojo Jojo versus Jake the Dog in paintball.
So, Mojo Jojo. He's incredible. He can do flips. He has a cape. He's incredible. He has all the different skills that you need to fight Powerpuff Girls, so that definitely includes paintball. And I think that Jake is just too bendy. It would be too easy to hit him. Mojo Jojo's really, really fast. He's good at hiding. super equal.
Jake the dog is basically an unstoppable foe. He can shrink
Yeah.
down to a really tiny size, so he's impossible to hit. Full on.
I would also suggest that having a cape is not an advantage in paintball.
All right, 3, 2, 1, vote. That is unanimous for Mojo Jojo. Nope, okay.
Inspector Jacques Clouseau. Panther.
Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Against Bob Ross.
Contest. Home Run Derby. I think we all know.
Just saying, Bob Ross was a drill sergeant.
Yes.
He was very, very physically active. I think he could do it, even though Stitch has the physical advantage, most likely. I think he could do it.
All right. Stitch can lift several tons with each arm, and he has 6 of them. Ergo,
6 bats.
Yeah, I mean, it's all logic.
6 bats.
Focus.
3, 2, 1, vote.
Stitch.
Looking like Stitch, 2 to 1.
Vizzini from
All right. Vizzini.
Inconceivable!
All right.
Marty McFly. Marty McFly versus Dewey Duck. And our contest is...
Deep sea diving.
Oh. Okay.
He's a duck.
He's also been to Atlantis.
3, 2, 1, vote.
Dewey.
Dewey.
That's Dewey. All right, Dewey versus Smokey the Bear.
Whittling.
Wiggly?
Whittling.
Wiggly.
Three, two, one, vote. That's looking like Smokey. We got Ash Ketchum.
Fire Lord Ozai.
And the contest is weightlifting.
He carries Pokemon's that are over like 45
Yeah, didn't
kilograms.
Ash once like pick up a Snorlax?
Yes, yeah, he is carrying so many heavy Pokemon.
Apart from like doing martial arts moves, I don't think I've ever actually seen Ozai exert
Oh,
himself.
well, when he takes off his shirt, he's definitely like,
buff.
he's ready. Listen, you can't take down a 12-year-old.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, vote. That's looking like 2 votes for Ash.
Now, Ash versus Mojo Jojo.
Skateboarding.
Skateboarding.
Mojo Jojo versus Ash Ketchum in skateboarding.
Okay.
Mojo Jojo can skateboard. It's like in the show.
He's done it in the
Does anybody know if Ash ever skateboards?
But he's like a 12-year-old boy. That's like the demographic.
I've met a lot of 12-year-old boys, and I know approximately 0 skateboard.
3, 2, 1, vote.
Yeah.
All right, Mojo Jojo takes it. All right, Rolf from Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Yes.
Let's do Xena Warrior Princess.
Xena versus Inspector Jacques Clouseau.
The invent off.
Does the thing have to work?
If neither one of them works, then no. 3, 2, 1.
Clouseau wins. Interesting. It's going to be Clouseau versus Kevin McAllister.
I would watch that movie.
In archery.
3, 2, 1, vote.
All right,
We
Kevin
have a
McAllister
winner.
takes it, probably for good reason, because Clouseau's more likely to shoot himself. Kevin McAllister versus Smokey the Bear. In ghost hunting.
And you still do very spirit.
Yes.
Smokey is one with nature. He's gonna know things supernaturally way better than Kevin McAllister.
Absolutely. Those
3, 2, 1, vote. That is unanimous for Smokey the Bear.
Marth
Fire Emblem.
versus Colonel Jack O'Neill.
Bridge design. Bridge design. Jack O'Neill, he's in the military. It's always about logistics. You gotta build bridge. You gotta have that engineering. You gotta be able to have those kind of skills. He goes to all these different planets all over the galaxy and is able to do those kinds of things. Oh, and he was MacGyver too, you know what I mean? He probably has MacGyver skills.
Didn't Marv end up being like a king or something? Yeah. You don't necessarily have to know that stuff yourself, but you could probably
Outsource it.
Yeah, you could probably outsource it. Ready? 3, 2, 1, vote.
Jack
O'Neill. All right. He faces off against Lieutenant Commander Geordie LaForge.
Ooh, in musical theater! Geordie is in every musical theater production on the Enterprise. You can find me about that.
3, 2, 1, vote. That is LaForge. Lily Ellis from the Fifth Element versus Rolf. This is in ice sculpting. 3, 2, 1, vote. That's gonna be Lilu. All right, Lilu Dallas versus Lonely Tipton surfing. 3, 2, 1, vote. All right, Lilu wins. Lilu Dallas versus Miss Piggy. Press your luck. The game show. 3, 2,
Control
1.
electricity. We can make it stop. Fozzie Bear. Yay!
Fozzie Bear versus Thomas the Tank Engine, and the contest is ballroom dancing.
Thomas can't dance.
Honestly, Thomas.
I want to see a train dance.
All right, that is 2 to 1 in favor of Fozzie. So now it's Fozzie Bear versus Stitch. Fozzie Bear versus Stitch in Mickey Mouse impersonation. 3, 2, 1, vote. What was the number? Fozzie wins it 2 to 1. Fozzie Bear versus Lieutenant Commander Geordie LaForge in yo-yoing. 3, 2, 1, vote.
Yeah.
LaForge versus Smokey the Bear. And the contest is freestyle rap.
Absolutely Geordie LaForge. I mean, yeah.
Vote. We need one more character to go right here and face off against Vizzini. Bucky Cat from Get Fuzzy in Quiplash.
Vizzini.
Or Vizzini.
And
3, 2, 1, vote. That's
Vizzini.
Vizzini versus Huey Duck in a battle of the bands. That's
Huey.
Vizzini and Bucky Cat versus Huey Duck and Kevin from Up.
Yeah. I would totally go to that show.
3, 2, 1, vote. Ooh, Vizzini takes it 2 to 1. All right, versus Mojo Jojo in juggling.
He's a lab monkey. He can juggle.
3, 2, 1, vote.
Really?
Vizzini takes it 2 to 1. Vizzini versus Miss Piggy in corn husking.
Corn husking to the death?
Can't do an argument with a Sicilian when corn husking is on the line.
I wish we could do arguments, but we are running so low on time. We just gotta slam through these. 3, 2, 1, vote. Miss Piggy takes it. Miss Piggy versus Lieutenant Commander Geordie LaForge. This is going to be a best of 3. Contest number 1, lawn darts. All right, so lawn darts. 3, 2, 1, vote. LaForge takes it. Second one is a civil lawsuit.
It's Piggy.
3, 2, 1, vote. Miss Piggy takes it. We are down to the wire. It's all determined by a karate tournament.
Geordie LaForge trains in the holodeck with Lieutenant Commander Data. It's no contest. I think we can figure it out.
Put him in a body bag.
Karate tournament. LaForge versus Miss Piggy. 3, 2, 1, vote! Miss Piggy may have won this time. Miss Piggy may have won this time, but remember, this is still anyone's game.
Wait, can I take a picture of the board, guys?
I really thought like George and the Forties come over here and choose skill set. Some choose a set of dice. But even that, they should
Except for Miss Piggy.
well. Also, if you found this fun, I've got some
Thank you so
cards
much.
here. Please take one.